talk crypto. So grab yourself a cup of something. I got lipstick all over mine, but that's okay. You guys drink your coffee out of other cups, I'm sure. So that could be another whole show, just coffee cups everybody loves, because we have our coffee and crypto cup that we use on our website. So today we have a special guest with us today. Her name is Charlie Oliver from Tech 2025 here in New York, and she'll be joining us in a minute. But first we want to talk about how we actually met. Charlie and I are part of our Women's Investment Club that we've been telling you about, and it's really getting going. I woke up this morning to something I wanted to share with you. It was an email from a gentleman in Germany who is a developer of coins and blockchain technology. And he actually worked with the United Nations. I'm not going to mention names right now, but we're going to have him on our show in the future. He actually worked with the UN to create a blockchain for the 83,000 refugees, how to get funds to them so that they could link up with apps, go into a store, get some, products that they needed for food and everything. And I had met him here in New York, and a very, compassionate person. I reached out to him, told him what we were doing with our global movement to help expand the knowledge of cryptocurrency to women all over the world. And he loved the project. He went back, talked to his partner, and they not only agreed to help us create our own coin, but they're going to donate some of their coins to our cause as well. So this is fabulous news, and it's really going to get the ball rolling. Well, let's see. I'm trying to find the email, but anyway, I told you what he said, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about this Women's Investment Club and how you guys can get involved. All right, we have a number of websites out there. So first step would be to get on our meetup. I think our sound engineer is going to show us that. So actually, let me get I'm good at creating web names that people can sign in on instead of looking for the meetup. So the actual meetup, if you just go womeninvestmentclub.com. Okay, I'm going to give you different variations of this, but this one is womeninvestmentclub.com. You go there and you can sign up here on our meetup, and then we can be in touch no matter where you are in the world, and we can talk about how you can get involved. That's the first step. Then, if you listen to our shows and you want to be a part of that and listen to back shows, we have a Facebook page now that we just set up, and that is at women with an S, women'sinvestment.club. Okay, women'sinvestment.club. So, where you were before is good, where it said women right there. Okay, so that's our Facebook page, and that has all of our radio shows, our past radio shows listed there. So you can always get trained up on cryptocurrency through that. And then, let's see, I think we're going to go to the LinkedIn next, which is womeninvestment.club. Okay, so this one doesn't have an S, womeninvestment.club. Oh, got to sign in first. Okay, that's fine. We have a Women in Crypto LinkedIn group that you can also sign up on. So there's a lot of ways that we can be in touch, that you can be in touch with me, that you can get in touch in order to start the process of doing what we're doing. Now, once you start that process, then we come here, that's right, to this Slack page, which I'll invite you to. And I don't know if it's possible just to make those left things on the left a little bit bigger, but basically those are channels. There you go. Thanks so much, Jesse. We have the best sound engineer here ever. Okay, so all of this is coming out of our group. So you can see we have different women giving us their feedback. We have different women all over the world participating. What I did is I reached out to women that are already into crypto and asked who would like to be what I call a master node in their area. So I've been getting feedback. I think we need to set it up as regions so we can keep track, and then the different countries, and then the different cities. So each one of those that you see has at least one woman who is basically the master node and will be involved in that specific area. So let's go into New York. If you see where it says America's USA New York, there it is. If you click on that, you can see some of the things that, and some of the people and what we've been doing here. The last thing that I posted at the very bottom, there's a link to a spreadsheet. There you go. That's a Google Sheets. And this is something like each club would do. And again, if you can make that bigger so we can actually read it, at least the top part where in red there. Okay, so the master nodes, what they would do, the idea is to have meetups with at least 10 women if you can get that, but it doesn't matter. You can have it in your home. You could have larger groups. They could team up in areas of 10 people. This is what we are calling the phantom portfolio. Okay? Now, women are totally, you can totally invest in cryptocurrencies to your heart's content on your own. We didn't want to start by taking money from people. We wanted to just create a phantom way for women to work together, to research coins, to then decide what their portfolio would look like, and then, week after week, decide what they want to do. And at the end of the day, you have a contest, a friendly contest of the ROI, who has the most appreciation in their ROI. So what we're going to do with our coin, and we're going to talk more about the spreadsheet in a minute, but what we're going to do with our coin is we are going to use it to reward people for their efforts of creating these circles and creating these, fun ways for women to learn about crypto. And having, little friendly contests, winning coin for having the best ROI or by inviting more people. Yeah, it's going to be like fun, okay? A fun way to make money and learn about crypto, okay? This spreadsheet itself, I'm just going to say, I just suggested, again, out of the group, somebody asked me, well, can you put together a template? How do we do it? So I said, sure. So in our New York meeting last week, we decided to research 6 coins: Monero, Stellar, Zap, Theta, Cardano, and Verge. So each woman took one coin and is going to be reporting back on that. So our master node, Maria, I'm not sure how she says her name, in Japan, is the one that asked me to create a way for people to research. So I put together just these little key points, like how I would do it. Not that we're going to do a master research, professor type thing that we want everybody to get involved in. No, it's just the key points that you're looking for. There's so many ways to research coins. First of all, there's CoinMarketCap. You can go on that and it'll show you all the different coins. There's like 1,600 coins. You can look up these specific coins or the coin you're responsible for researching. You look and see the exchanges it's on. You can look at the graphs that, how long it's been doing what it's doing, how it's gone up, how it's gone down. You can do searches for like CoinDesk, all the articles that are out there on it. You can go to YouTube and search it, and there's so many people reporting on all these coins. So again, there's a lot of information here that you can use to help you research a coin. But once you've done that and then the following week you get back with your group, then I just put a sample here like Cardano. Let's just say, okay, we have $100,000. We want to take 25% of our portfolio. We want to buy Cardano at that existing rate, okay? The price will be different on the day that you do this, but just an example, I put 25 cents. I think it actually went up to 28 cents. Let's see what it is right now just for fun. When I did this, I think it was at 28, and things seem to be going up here. So I have this great handy app that I like to use. Oh, my goodness. Cardano's up to 31 cents. Oh, that went away, Jesse. So 31 cents, meaning when I saw this, well, actually Cardano just like a week ago was at 16 cents. And so I put it at 25, and then when I looked, it was 28, and now it's 31. So you can see how basically your portfolio just would have doubled if you had done it at 16 cents, pretty much, as far as that one coin. But anyway, this is what we're doing to have fun with this and also to teach and train people how to do it. And then having the whole group involved, meaning everybody researching different coins. When you get back, you start talking and presenting your information that you found out about the coin and your recommendations. And after everybody in the group does that with all of their coins, then you decide what percentage of your portfolio go into each of those coins. Okay. Then the following week, I'm thinking it's going to be a little bit too hard to come up with the same exact coins for everyone like we did in the beginning. But I think what we'll do is just let people choose their own coins, what they want to research and what they want to add or take away from their portfolio. And then maybe monthly or quarterly, we'll see whose ROI is, has appreciated the most and do some kind of fun rewards for that. One reward could be having your team coming on this radio show. Or, if you have a group and you want to Zoom me into your group, we could do that. We could do all kinds of fun things, but the idea is to make money and have fun. So that's why we want to have our own coin. All right. Now, our own coin not only would be used to reward people in this regard, but I look at it like to really create a flow around the world for women to be able to even have jobs created from doing this. For, one of the jobs would be go out and in your area, find those local establishments, the women in your groups, as well as nonprofits, as well as store owners, merchants, and we will create a marketing platform using our coin as the way that people buy and sell merchandise and things from each other. So as an example, I don't know. I don't know. Jesse, can you look up womeninternational.net if it's possible to get up there? On this website, this is just a beta, okay? You can't go on there and really buy stuff, but I was just creating a website as a beta for what the marketplace would look like. So in the beginning of the page, I don't know if we can get that up. If we can't, that's fine. Oh, there it is. Okay, in the beginning of the page, we kind of see what the idea is, the women involved. These are our master nodes. This is Israel. This is here in New York. Actually, that's Charlie, the girl that's coming on our show in a sec. This is Sarah from Geneva. Oh, this is so sweet. All these people are great. They're all over the world. I don't want to actually get into all of their names because I don't even really have their permission to show them on this. You guys forgive me if it's not okay, but I won't mention your name. But we have people from London, Amsterdam, Holland, Japan, like I said, Israel. Well, we have people in the United States too, in Boston and Atlanta, here in New York, of course. So anyway, if you look at the very top of that screen, it says the different aspects. Let's say food. If you went into food, then you could have all the restaurants in your different areas that accept our coin. Or you could have, your own products and services on this. So eventually this will be a membership organization, but we'll always have levels. So the first level will be free. The next level, will be paid small amount, like $20 a month, where it would go to help create the organization and the websites, everything we need to make this happen, the coin, all that kind of stuff. But also you would receive coin. So that the next level, you would be basically a staff member and be earning coins to create all the things that we need. We want to do a magazine. If you look on that website at the bottom, it has Highest Vision magazine. We could do retreats. We could do a lot of things, okay, all over the world. It'd be a fun place to work for sure. And the other level, the very highest level, then we would create like an angel fund where you could actually be an investor and really invest in pre-ICOs or whatever it evolves to, okay? The other side of that is marketing. I really believe in this, the radio show that we're doing, and in the future we'll be doing more. We'll be doing TV, the master nodes, or our speakers, the people that are representing us in all of these areas. I think it's going to be very important to actually have them on our show or go where they are and interview them, eventually create a film documentary of all of this that's happening. because when I really got into crypto, I've mentioned this before, Bitcoin for me was an alternative to what was out there. We paid our rent, we bought things, and things kind of changed over time because the fees went up for Bitcoin, and people just held it more like a stock. But all of these cryptocurrencies that are coming out, all of these what they call altcoins, they all really have a purpose. And this is why we are using this platform to research the different altcoins. There are different purposes, so you can actually learn what it is they're doing and why you use them. So, example, when we have our own coin, we will be using it to create a global women's movement to actually have a flow of this coin, not just sit there and hold it for it to appreciate, but actually have a use for it, which would be to create jobs, to empower women, to train women, but not only women. I'm going to tell you right now, men are really getting on board with this. And that's, like I said, men are really going to support us in doing this, and they're going to help us in doing this. They want it as much as I do, and you. When I did meet with this gentleman from Germany, he said that he's in Munich, and they have a crypto meetup with over 200 people, 150 to 200 people, and he said maybe 5 to 10 are women. So he was very much concerned that there's just not enough diversity right now and that women are going to be missing out, and that's how I feel about it. So I think that's a fabulous thing, and I hope that you like what we're going to do, and I hope that you'll go to one of our pages, and you can always go to coffeetalk.co, which is our radio station, and I'll put some, I don't have it yet, but I will add some of these links to that page so that you can go ahead and do that. Okay, so the different coins that, well, one of the coins that I am responsible for reporting back on, our meeting is tomorrow night, Wednesday night here in New York. If anybody is in New York and you want to join us, again, you could go to our meetup, but I'll just tell you, it's at the Signature Theater. That is between 9th and 10th on 42nd Street, second floor cafe, which is a fabulous space. And we will be meeting at 5:30. So 5:30 to 7:30 tomorrow night. If you want to join us, if you're in New York, come on by. And then, eventually we will find ways for you to participate. Well, you can participate in your own local areas for sure. But I'm saying we'll find a way to merge the groups, at some point. Like eventually we'll have quarterly regional conferences and one annual global conference. I mean, it'll be a lot of fun. Okay, so as far as our coin development, we do have our associate in Israel who's working on that, and she has created a number of papers, one for the group itself and the other one for the coin. So I've sent that information off to Germany, and we'll be reporting back on that. But at this point, what it looks like is that we will be creating an Ethereum ERC20 token. So we shall keep you in tune on all that. Now, coming up here in New York, we have so many crypto conferences. My gosh, I'm serious. I mean, it's like May for weddings around here. So I'm going to one tonight at Fordham University. There's always something going on, believe me. But as far as, I just want to say the weekend of May 12th and 13th, there's literally 3 conferences going on May 12th, okay? There's a conference going on May 13th, which is Mother's Day, but they're still having a women's conference. And I thought it was really cute. It's called Women on the Block, and Charlie is actually going to be presenting there. And then the next weekend, there's a consensus, Ethereal, I think is the name of that. I mean, it just goes on and on. So if you're in New York, you could probably go to as many conferences as possible and learn about cryptocurrency or meetups. But if you're not, then we're going to help you learn through all the things that we're going to present on this show. And we will hopefully get to film some of these conferences in the future and share them with you, or at least interviews with all these people, or have them on our radio show. Okay, so let's see what else we have going on. Oh, and we're going to cut to a break. That's fabulous. Okay, see you in a sec.
founder of the Progressive Radio Network. Today we have more than 80 producers bringing forth the most progressive and most liberating information, the kind of information you do not regularly hear on any of the mainstream or alternative media. You can help us now. Up to this point, I have virtually supported the Progressive Radio Network, all of its expenses and payroll, myself. But we would like to expand our reach. We'd like to do far more. We'd like to be able to advertise on Facebook and let others know we exist. We are the #1 progressive radio network in the world. In fact, we have programs that are most listened to in all of progressive radio. But we could go a lot further. Our message could reach a lot more people, especially at a time when people are desperate for honest, objective insights on the important topical issues of our day. How can you help? It's simple. Go to prn.fm, go to our main page. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll see a little button, Support Now. And then whatever you can contribute on a monthly basis will make a big difference. It will help get the message out. It will help inform more people. It will give them more choices. This is where you'll hear Jill Stein and Ralph Nader and the independent candidates and the people looking to challenge the corruption in government and industries. But we need to get our reach out further. So please, whatever you can afford on a monthly basis, and there's some suggestions there, and it'll be automatic. All right? Thank you very much for continuing to help us help you and the rest of the world on these important issues.
With Charlie Oliver. Welcome, Charlie.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Well, we're going to talk about Tech 2025, and this is why I have told you all this great information up front so that we could prime the pump for Charlie. Just to let you know, I have a lot of people saying, oh, this must be a pyramid scheme, what you're doing. And I'm like, no way. Okay, so to show that point that this is all about learning and that everything we've been doing so far is free, Charlie, tell us about Tech 25 and what you're doing as far as what you're teaching. Let me just preface, I don't think you're doing a lot right now in the crypto space so far.
Intentionally.
But that's why you joined our group.
Yes.
And that's why we're going to work together, and I'm excited about that. But it seemed like, from my research on your company, you're doing a lot with AI and all those great machine learning and virtual reality, right? Yeah, so tell us how you got into all this, what you guys are doing, the whole thing.
The whole thing. I'll make it quick, too.
No, don't make it quick.
The full, 2 hours.
No, we got time. Well, no, we don't have 2 hours.
I'm a girl from Brooklyn. I can talk,
They can see you.
They can?
Oh, yeah. Okay. No, yeah, cool.
Okay, so thank you so much for having me, by the way. This is so cool. I love what you do. All right. And I don't think that you're doing a pyramid scheme. I know that you're not. So I am the founder of Tech 2025, which is a subsidiary of Served Fresh Media. And that is a digital media strategy agency that I launched about, 8 years ago. Well, 9. And what we do there is we help companies to figure out their marketing, their branding, their innovation strategy, the technologies they want to use to engage their customers or to use in-house, right, and with their staff. And so I've loved doing that. I think it's great. It's a lot of fun. It's sometimes frustrating, but...
No, did you do TV with that? Or was that something different?
That was something different. I mean, my professional start, I didn't start in TV, but I went into TV when I was very young. I was 21 years old, and I went straight from Brooklyn to L.A., and I started working on TV shows, on sitcoms.
Wow.
I was in a room with Gary David Goldberg and Bill Cosby, and I probably shouldn't say that, but
oh wait, hold on, no, that's another whole thing. We won't go there. That's that Me Too movement. No, listen, just talk a little slower, just because I know you're a New Yorker, but just on the radio, it's a little bit.
Thank you, and you do have to remind me of that because I do talk fast. Sorry. So that was a lifetime ago. It was a great foundation, actually, for what I'm doing now, because I segued from TV production, where I was in the room with the writers, working on a script morning, noon, and night, having a ball, to heading back to New York and working in indie film. And that was, to me, I say it was this sort of heyday of indie film where it was like the the late 90s, early 2000s, and it was just an exciting time. And I worked at indie film production companies, going out to get the projects and funding them, and then did 4 years as a manager at Sundance Film Festival. So
wow,
yeah.
I did not know that. Awesome.
Did a lot. And so all of that sort of everything in your life prepares you for the sort of the next step. And I began to see, I grew weary of, as we used to call it, traditional media, right? Of the way it was then. And I said, well, this internet thing, this whole, it sounds interesting. I'll give it a shot.
What year was this?
This was 2007. And at that time, I was even working also in corporate law. I mean, I was doing a lot of sort of document presentation work in all the corporate law firms. It was a lot of work back then because they were switching over their systems to the latest version of Windows and Microsoft Word, and those word processing systems, and attorneys, they just had no idea what was going on. So I went in there and made money like everyone else did. It was great. And then came the social media era, and that's when I stepped into technology. And I launched Tech 2020. Well, first I launched a web video startup called Art of Talk TV, which was, unfortunately, I think it was too soon for what it was. I launched it a year or two after YouTube launched. So that should give you some idea. It was a whole different web video ecosystem, obviously. And there were companies at that time that were bigger than YouTube, web video platforms, that we thought would make it into the next 10 years, and they folded once the market crashed.
So were you doing live interviews on?
It was a little both. So the idea is that it's a platform. It was a platform for reporting on all of the talk shows, whether it be morning talk shows, night. And back then, they were still really popular. So it was a platform for sort of aggregating and discussing all of the sort of hot topics that were coming out of the talk shows. And then also it was an original talk show platform. And the idea was that we would create these little mini episodes with B and C-list celebrities. If we could get B, that's great. But if you were a reality TV celebrity, that was fine. That was great. And we would give you that one talk show that you've always wanted, and it was always going to be just one episode. Because working in the business, I happen to know that just about every celebrity thinks that they can be a talk show host, or they want to be. So I thought, great, we'll give them a platform on this new medium, and they can do whatever they want. They don't have to worry about the ratings and the censorship. And we didn't. The first one that we brought on, that we signed, was Rob Blagojevich, which is he's the what was he? Well, he's in jail now.
Oh, no, I don't know.
He sold Obama's Senate seat. The governor. Was he the governor of Illinois?
Don't ask me any politics.
Anyway,
I ignore
this
administration and all others. Okay.
Thank you very much. I do too. So that was that, and then came Surface Media, because that's when Twitter launched, and Facebook was sort of beginning to get its legs. And I found an opportunity to help companies to understand. For some reason, I personally felt like it would be big, and I felt like, you know what? Let me help you to get on board now. It's important to do this now. And as you know, big brands and companies, they don't really necessarily operate like that. And so the way that I got them to let me sort of show them how this technology could work for them was to do it in a way where, number one, I knew that they would be pretty much very desperate to get amplification, which is around live events, right? Everybody wants their events to be packed and to have a sort of a buzz. So I use that as a platform for showing them how they can take social media and use it to amplify their events to the world and get people to show up online. And
so wait, you create events? Or
no,
what?
They already had. So companies, they already have their corporate events, right?
Oh, okay.
And so we would go in with our social media team, which is, I called them social media reporters back then. I would go in with like 10 people, which it would take that many people at that time because it was a different era, right? I mean, the way that we were processing a lot of that information was still very manual. It was still very much like getting the photos and the video and processing it. I mean, we weren't even using mobile phones the same in 2007 as we were now. We were using. So they would allow me to come into their events, and I would say, just let me come in. Let me come in with my team, and let me show you what we can do. And they would go, sure.
Yeah, why not? You weren't even charging them.
Exactly.
How did you monetize that?
So what happens was the first couple of ones I did just to prove the model, right?
Right.
those were the ones, I mean, I usually trended them because, again, we had 10 people coming in and just scouring the event and creating this great content that they had never seen created and posting it everywhere online. And they, oh, my God.
Well, I think that would still be great today. I mean, are
It
you doing that?
It is. You know what? No, not so much because it's
Okay.
changed. But back then, I will tell you something. I mean, we have changed. Our model has changed to sort of meet the needs of our clients. But I will say this. Once I did that, it was, I mean, doors open for me and the models just, that's how I've sustained myself for the past company still here.
Well, let's talk about 2025 then. What are
Okay.
you doing with that? Well, actually, just stepping a little bit further back, the Fresh Media that you
Fresh
talked
Media.
about. It's funny because I didn't know that was your website when I told you, let's keep it fresh. And then, did you think I knew?
No,
Oh,
didn't.
no, okay. Because when I looked at it, I was like, that is funny because I even told you we're going to keep it fresh.
Media,
Yeah.
yeah. I have to get that site back up and going, but yeah.
Yeah, because I did look at it. Was good. But what was that? Was that more media driven or?
Yeah, definitely. It was more media driven and it was more campaign driven. A lot of the companies that we dealt with, especially early on, and even so now, but especially early on, were more sort of product driven. It was the product launches. A lot of times it was announcements. Or a lot of times what happened is they would come to me and say, we need to sort of shift our messaging to reach
So
out
it
to
was
younger
marketing.
audience. It was definitely marketing.
Oh, okay.
I think my strength is in communicating and listening to people and hopefully being able to help them to say what they want to say better.
Okay, so tell me then now about 2025. Because, I mean, the brief time we talked about it, you now have, 30,000 people on your mailing list? Is that what you
on the
told
mailing
me?
list, yes, but there hasn't been 30,000 people coming in. So this is where it segues from Surface Media, because Surface Media, the way that Tech 2025 came about was I kept hearing from our C-suite clients. I would go in to do presentations or to sort of consult with the innovation teams at a lot of companies, and I was seeing this fear on the faces of executives. And it was a valid fear, which is, what is this AI? What is this machine learning? Oh, my God, what's going on? And I was seeing a fear and hearing questions that I had never heard before. And certainly conveyed to me in a way that I had not heard. I mean, it was almost like a desperation, which I don't think, by the way, is solely for the C-suite. I think everybody's feeling that sort of desperation. So I said to myself, well, now, if you guys at the top and mid-level management up are feeling this, who knows? I mean, could you imagine what people beneath you, mid-level management down, are feeling? I mean, they're just as confused, if not more concerned, because they don't have the power. They're not making the decisions.
So what was the main concern? Because I see it. I saw an article here that I love the title, Somewhere Between Oblivious and Alarmed, a starting point to addressing the problems and dangers within AI.
Yes.
So was it mostly towards the artificial intelligence, or
it was
just being left behind, not understanding technology?
That's a great question. I'll tell you. Yes, it was definitely more towards AI, because initially when we launched Tech 2025, which was technically December 2016, our first event was January the 11th, 2017. AI was not mainstream
17.
yet.
It's just been a year.
Yes, that's why I mean.
A little over a year.
Thank you. So, but the thing is that this is how amazing this technology has exploded. Back then, no one had even really been. They certainly didn't know a lot about it, but it was not yet in the mainstream. I would tell people about this, and they would say, "What? AI?" Well, or it was still, and now it's everywhere. So I'll tell you, this was also birthed out of an extreme frustration and anger within, because I've been in tech for years, and I know a lot of people, and I see what's going on like everyone else. But I began to hear things coming from people like Eric Schmidt of Google, right? Former chairman of Google. He put out an article with Sebastian Thrun, who's the founder of what is it? I forget the online.
Some big guys, though.
Yeah, I forget the online company. I always forget the name of it. But anyway, they co-authored an article, and the article was I think it was in Forbes or one of those publications. And basically, it was a response to Elon Musk and the late great Stephen Hawking about their concern about AI. And, their concern is extreme at one end, which is like, oh, my God, we have to worry about this. This is insane. This could kill us all. And what Eric Schmidt was saying, while I agree with a more measured tone, Eric Schmidt he's a tech utopianist, right? So he believes that it's going to be okay and just let us do what we need to do with this AI stuff. Don't you worry your pretty little heads about it, right? And I was amazed at, number one, the audacity of this man to just completely dismiss the idea that we should have concerns and that we should even be voicing them. But also, I was amazed at my own anger at the nerve of his, right? I was amazed that I was so angry because I said, this son of a bitch, I tell you what they want to do. They want to build this technology out and continue to profit off of it and not let anyone else, and at any and all expense. They don't care. And, if the middleman or if anyone, who's losing jobs can't get back up on their feet. I mean, so what I saw was the future. I saw the future being played out the way the present is now, only intensified 100 times more because the technology is that much more invasive. It's that much more complicated. You know what I mean?
Well, what have you distill it down to what you've found in the last year of doing this then? Because, I mean, I did listen to your podcast where you said you have an Alexa in your kitchen.
I do. I had to discipline her yesterday. Every now and then, I got to discipline Alexa. Yeah, no, and I do. And you know what? And that was an interesting relationship too, because the first time I got Alexa, my Echo, I put it up like everyone else, and I kind of enjoyed it. I got into it, and then I became concerned about some of the things that it did that I didn't like, and I moved it into the living room. I turned it off. I put her on punishment for 2 weeks. I did. I didn't have it for 2 weeks. I was like, that's it. I own my house. And there's this denial that we go through with technology, right? With embracing technologies, especially intrusive technology like that. And then, do you know that what ended up getting me, something always gets us to just give in.
Hooks you, right?
It hooks me. And there's one thing that hooked me, and that was that my speaker, my speaker for my music, like blew. It was a Bluetooth speaker. And I said, God, I need another speaker. And I was like, oh, yeah, Alexa's a speaker, too. And it's see. And now not only do I have her in my kitchen, I have one in my living room and in my bathroom.
Oh, my Lord. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get back to 2025 because the meat of it, from what you told me, is you have these events and you literally charge like $20 for these people to come. And so what are they learning while they're there? What's the takeaway? Do they get jobs after this? What is the point?
Oh, that's a great question. So the point of it is that we need to be having these discussions about technology. We need to have them in a way that's inclusive, meaning you don't need to be a technologist, you don't need to be a coder, you don't have to be an investor or someone like that. You can just come in and have discussions about the implications or the potential impact of the technology now and in the future, and have it in a way that, first of all, what I tell people at every meetup, every event we do is, and we do what we call think tanks, where we ask people to come in, and then we ask a special guest speaker who's an expert in the field to come in and to sort of figure out problems together in groups, right? And then to present those problems, because it's very important that you begin to present your ideas confidently, even if you feel like you don't know anything about the technologies, because most of us don't. Even the people who are, and this is what I convey to my audience, the people who are developing these technologies don't know either. They're developing them, but they don't really know what's going on. They can't explain why AI is doing certain things. There's this black box thing. I want people to understand first and foremost that we really are sort of on a level playing field here, right? And it's an open field that we can all get on and sort of help to figure out some of these problems moving into the future. It's going to require moving out of your comfort zone. So when people come in, the first thing that I do is I get them to move out of their comfort zone, which is get together in groups, find 5 people you can stand for the next hour, and here's some really deep problems that you need to solve in about 20 minutes. And it's always a lot of fun because when they come in, they don't expect that. And even when they do expect it, the way that we do it, the way that we sort of present the problems to them is always sort of, whoa. And in that same regard, my speakers who are experts in the field, who themselves have problems that they need to solve and are really trying to figure this stuff out, I tell them when they come in, you're the guest and we love you. You've got 10-page PhDs and we appreciate that. But the real star of the show is the audience, right? So we want you guys to have an exchange. So I set this up so that the guest speaker can learn from the audience and the audience can learn from the guest speakers. And at the end of it, the hope is, number one, that people feel like they can talk about this stuff and not feel dumb, because the general public has been told for years that they're kind of dumb about this stuff, about technology, and they're not. Not really, not that dumb. I think we know more than they say that we do. And then also on top of that, for them to be able to take the excitement that they feel in these, because we see excitement when they, at the end of these events, they're always excited, like, oh my God, this is great, to take that excitement and do something with it. Share it with someone the next day. I've had people in here who have actually upskilled in their field because of this. So, yeah, what can you do to help solve the problems of tomorrow? And here's another thing, and I'm just going to say this one last thing. I happen to believe, I know for a fact like you do, that there's a lot of money locked at the top.
Oh, yeah.
There's a crap load of money.
All right.
Okay. I happen to think that they should be paying us to learn. I happen to think that they should be paying us for these ideas. But you know why? Because I think we're moving into an idea economy where there's so many problems to solve, so few of us who really understand the technology, that it's going to take just a plethora of just ideas, not companies or startups, but ideas, and the churning of these ideas and talking about them. So anyway.
So no, that's a great segue, because before you came, I was going through just that. The whole point of why why personally I wanted to create this women's movement around the world is to educate women on the whole crypto, because exactly what you're saying about AI and all that is the same. Whether or not they feel dumb, they are definitely, it's complicated.
Exactly.
They can't understand it. Right. They're curious. Mm-hmm. They don't know how to invest. Yes. They haven't invested. Mm-hmm. It was a man's world. It is a man's world. It was always, until the recent legislation on the Jobs Act, it was always that you had to be a sophisticated investor to even do anything.
Exactly.
So I was always waiting for the day when the normal human being could actually profit in some way. So yeah, the fact that this coin our intention is to create jobs and actually pay people with it. This is why I think our synergy is fabulous, because it's just adding that next layer to what you're already doing, which is now cryptocurrency, which people don't understand. Most people, even if you're a man or a woman around the world. So it's a total way to educate and have fun doing it, which is exactly what it sounds like you're doing. And even as you said, getting in the groups and breaking in teams, that's exactly what I said. You get in, you create groups, whether it's in your home or anywhere, you create teams and you teach each other. And you can be investing on your own, but right now we're not even taking people's money. We just want to help people, get them educated, right? I mean, everything can evolve out of this. So you came to the first meeting, or at least last week was your first meeting. Right. Give me your takeaway. What did you get? I know we'll get in, which I did talk about the different coins that we chose. Okay. I talked about how each of us picked one, and and it was funny because the one I picked was Cardano. And,
yes, that's right.
And I had done, I don't know if you got to see it, but I did a spreadsheet because a girl from Tokyo asked, give me a guidance, a template. So I created that spreadsheet, the
I
Google
love it. I can't wait to see
sheets, that we would keep our fandom portfolio on. Right. And literally the last time when everything was down, Cardano was at 16 cents. Today it's like 31. It's double, basically. So hello.
And that was your idea, wasn't it?
All of this is my idea. Right. It's just coming from creating ways for other people to put their input in, which one of the things that I shared was, I created that Slack, but then somebody from the group, actually from Geneva, said you need to go by region so we can keep track. Because, when we get 1 million women in here, we got to have a way to figure these out. And all of these master nodes, which I want you, ask you to be one in New York, would be, eventually staff and, helping out with all this. But anyway, I've already covered all that, so I don't want to talk too much about that. Because the whole idea is to have people finding their ROI appreciation, right? Return on investment, and getting rewarded for it with the coin. And you missed this part, but I actually talked to the guy from Germany. I'm so excited. I'm going to talk about it at our meetup tomorrow night. Now I'm talking fast. They're going to even donate some of their coins.
Get out. What do you mean donate?
And he's going to make a coin so that we can reward these contests going on, the appreciation and ROI. And I'll tell you, I've already shared it on the radio, so I'll tell you guys at the meetup tomorrow. Let's get to you. What was your experience of our meetup? What was your takeaway? What got you excited about wanting to be a part of it?
Oh, fantastic. First of all, congratulations on that. That's amazing.
Right?
I get excited when I see other people doing incredible things to help other people. Go figure. I just think it's amazing, right? So with Tech 2025, we are not touching cryptocurrency specifically for a reason. And I am very deliberate about the content that I choose. As a content marketer, understand that I'm extremely deliberate about what I do. And the reason is that cryptocurrency, number one, obviously is very complicated, and there's also a darkness around it with regards to the way that people think about it, right, and how it's covered, and also a lot of shady stuff that's going on, right? I'm saying historically, not just recently, but
right. It's the same stuff that's been going on with dollars, U.S. dollars.
There's a different connotation to it this time, and there's an anger behind the lack of trust that's not there with the dollar right now, and so I have to be careful with regards to Tech 2025 because it's not a cryptocurrency club, and I don't want it to be perceived as such. So we are going to begin to do that, but I'm very careful about that. So, but that's why I'm here. So, but we are doing blockchain, and believe it or not, when we do blockchain, just so you know, before I get into yours, when I do marketing, Facebook marketing, paid ads, and we get quite a few angry people who actually leave comments like, it's a scam. And I'm like,
well, most people on the social media leave angry comments.
Well, no, but you'd be surprised. Some of them are not you. You're right, right? But so I get it. I get what you're saying. But I came to your group because I am fascinated by communities, smaller communities of people who are just going about it their own way and trying to figure this out and connecting with each other and doing some pretty awesome stuff. Because I happen to think that that's the future. And I happen to think that those are the people who really, really should be heard right now. And so that's part of what we're doing in Tech 2025, starting to more and more, is to amplify the voices of other communities. I'm not a person who believes it's just our community. I think we need to amplify each other's message in order to learn from each other. So I said, well, you know what, Charlie, first of all, I have to admit, I don't know practically anything really about cryptocurrency. I mean, if I sat here and had a conversation with you, I'd probably have to be quiet for most of it, which is fine, and just learn from you. So I said, I'm going to actively go out of my way right now to not only learn about it online through courses online, which I'm taking, but also to go into some of the smaller clubs and to learn. And I found yours, and I was amazed by you. There was something about you and the way that you're communicating what it is that you're doing that resonated with me. You know, and maybe I'll be able to tell you more as we go on. But I love that it was at the New York Public Library. I love that it was, you know, I saw your show and I thought, okay, I love that you were a woman. I love that you were a woman of a certain age, like I am.
Oh, come on. I'm older than you.
No, well, but neither one of us are 20. Okay, that's my point. Okay? And that's a great thing, you know. So when I came, I have to tell you, I love that I walked into a room there was 7 of us in there. And do you know how refreshing that was? Do you know how much I love that? Because number one, I thought, well, this is great. I'm going to really get to hear these women. It's like, it's not going to be 100 people. I mean, I usually do big events, and that's fine too. But the small ones allow us to express ourselves in ways that we can't necessarily at bigger events. And I took away so much from that. I was so excited that when I left, I posted it everywhere. And I said this was a great evening. I really got to hear different points of view about cryptocurrency from women that I had not heard before.
Yeah, well, see, that's the idea. I mean, that darkness you talk about is because people are uneducated. They don't understand. They haven't been exposed to it. They hear what you hear, just like every other thing, the killings, the murders on the news, the bad things that happen, you know. So if there's darkness around it, it's because people haven't been able to clear that into the light and really understand it. Right. And that's what we're trying to do here, you know, and with this whole concept and on the radio show. So, well, then tell me, what are your plans for 2025 as far as, I see that you are, and I mentioned that you were going to be a speaker, at which I love the name, on Mother's Day, the Women on the Block. I just think that's fabulous. How did you get involved in that then?
So one of the people in our community who's also our advisor, actually, we have advisors at Tech 2025, is Ed McGuire, and he is an advisor. He is an analyst. He, for 2 decades, maybe not that long, 15 years, has been someone who goes into companies and does innovation reports and helps them to figure out where the trends are in innovation and how they probably will play out. Brilliant man. Okay. So lucky enough to have him as a supporter and an advisor, and he actually recommended me to the conference. So a lot of times when I'm asked to speak at events, it is usually because someone recommends me. And Ed was like, you got to get Charlie in there. And when Cindy, who is the organizer of the event, her last name is escaping me. Forgive me. But Cindy contacted me and she said, you know, I love that you are building communities around this topic and sort of helping people to understand blockchain. What do you think? And I said to her, I always have to ask, well, what is it that you're expecting me to contribute to the conversation? Cindy Chin. Thank you very much.
I have the website here.
She's amazing, by the way. Awesome. And she said, you know, I love that you sort of understand how to build communities. And what I love about Cindy is that she understands, as well as you do, that it's building the communities around the technology that actually defines the technology, right? It's not the technology itself. So that's what I'll be talking about. The idea that anyone sitting in that audience doesn't matter your level of understanding or expertise, that if you want to know about this, it is crucial that you connect with other people that you can talk to about it, even if it's just 3 of you in a coffee shop.
Right. Well, feel free to invite them to what we're doing. I actually, I will be editing the video. I did a Zoom with this guy in Germany, and I said I didn't want to mention names yet. I'll have him on the show in the future.
Okay.
But I'm going to edit it and show a little bit of it tomorrow night because he does talk about blockchain and how, because my concern, you always have a concern, right?
Absolutely.
My concern was, I'm making all this stuff up. Is this really going to be good for a blockchain? Because you hear well, you shouldn't be doing a database on a blockchain or whatever. Anyway, how we do as women, we kind of have a little doubt sometimes.
Well, it's you know what it is. We're extremely, and this is now I'm at this age learning not to apologize for this. We are very, very analytical. We go over things different ways, and we play things out a million different ways in our heads. We're far less likely to jump on something, and that's in these instances when it comes to cryptocurrency and in the markets. That's where men actually excel because they tend to jump in,
and that's why they're all there. I mean, making a lot of money. Actually, we did have a girl in our group that said she was a nurse and she's retired now because of all the money she made on cryptocurrency because one of her friends back in 2012 or 11, a guy told her to do this, and she did it because, of course, he was a guy. He told her to. She did it, right?
Right.
Okay.
I would love to know why she initially, when he said that, what was it about how he said it to her that made her act?
Well, I think at that time it was just $30. She said she just put, it was like a hard wallet, paper thing wallet. You just leave it there, and she just put $30 on it, so it wasn't a big deal, right? But then when it hit 1,000, she started paying attention.
But can I say something?
And that's when she started doing it.
I have a theory about that.
Yeah.
Having
I don't
know her that much. Obviously, I don't know her very well, but I listened to her that night. I was amazed by her story, and she's funny because she's unapologetic about the fact that she wants to make a lot of money. So I think that it also has a lot to do with, and this is something that we don't talk about, but I think we do need to talk about, has a lot to do with her relationship to money. She is unapologetic about wanting a lot of it, wanting to get it, and she's aggressive about it, and I love that. And I think if we begin to talk about our relationship to traditional like cash and money and how it's shaped and formed us, we'll understand our relationship to cryptocurrency and how we are or are not engaging in it, right? Because I'm someone who I'm fascinated by the technology. I'm not necessarily fascinated about investing in it.
Okay.
I know why, though. I am going to, but I know why. I know where that comes from.
But do you think having that phantom portfolio first would help you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So this is all about, and this is how I see what
build
you
up
do
some
and what
confidence.
I do. It's not even confident because you know what it is. I'm extremely confident. It's just if I'm not interested in it, if I don't feel it, and if I don't have some sort of connection to it, I won't do it right away, or I'll procrastinate, or whatever the case may be. But we have to move beyond, and I think this is the case with all emerging technologies. We have to find a way to push through our own limitations or our perceived limitations, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the story and the narrative I've been telling myself for however many years, and there is some truth to that, right? That I feel this particular way about money. I'm just, whatever it is, you've got to get over it, and you've got to find a way to embrace it. It may not be with that group, but it may be with that group. It may be over here. You know what I mean? So I challenged myself to do the very things that I challenge my community to do, which is always to, I didn't know coming on the show what we were going to talk about it. I don't know anything about cryptocurrency, but we can have a conversation about it.
Right. So I just want to finish with that. He did explain to me how the blockchain would work with it. And so it was exciting for me to say, okay, good, because, if you want to do it in a way that makes sense. You want to be a part of the community and as a viable community member in the whole right cryptocurrency world.
Absolutely. And we are. That's why I'm also doing this myself. So in addition to working with your group, I'm also taking classes online. There's so many of them, right?
Yes.
I want to be able to talk about it and recommend it to our group in a way that's substantive.
Right. You want to educate yourself first because you're always teaching what you want to learn, right?
Absolutely, right. So we are going to be in the next couple of months introducing also cryptocurrency. In the next, actually by June, early July, we'll have an event around cryptocurrency. I expect you to be there.
For sure.
A speaker even.
Cool. Why not? Yeah. Well, I started reaching out to women all over the world, and oh yeah. Well, I don't know if you've been on our Slack yet. I had showed the different channels are really women in all those areas. Yeah. Well, I mean, I know you're busy, and this has just come up over the last week, but I've talked to women in Holland, in Amsterdam, in Tokyo, in London.
What are you hearing from them? What is there?
No, what I'm doing is first of all, I'm reaching out to women that are already in the space, so I don't have to reinvent the wheel or explain to them what it is.
Right.
I'm reaching out to women that are in the space, and I'm asking them if you're interested in being a masternode in your area, meaning, a speaker, not a speaker, but a representation of what we're doing in your area. Right. In other words, I look at this like a train the trainer thing. If I train you and on what we're doing, and you can then train others, then this can be global, and then everybody can win, and it would be a win-win, as I mentioned to you, right? That's what I'm looking for. And I'm telling you that women, basically this is my thing. I'm creating a women's investment club. I'm looking for a masternode in your area. Would you like to participate? And the answer is yes.
Really? Have you gotten any pushback, though? Have you gotten any pushback?
I haven't. Really? I had one person tell me I'm really, really busy right now. I can't really do it, but I really appreciate what you're doing. I had one person out of 50 tell me that. Yeah. And just today, over the weekend, I made a LinkedIn now, and I started inviting people to that. This morning I woke up to
I didn't get an invitation.
Well, okay, you will. We'll get it tomorrow at the meetup. Bring your computer.
Okay.
But then, this morning I woke up to someone in L.A. Oh, I want to be on your show. I want to be a part of this. But,
great.
I've never had women say no. Women that are in the space really know. They want this to happen. And men, too, like I said. So, we're almost out of time. Yeah. And I'm sorry our time was short, but maybe you'll come back another time.
Always, yes.
Yes. And great. And, I have a lot of ideas how we can work together, and we can talk about it.
You too? Wait, yes, me too.
Do you have anything you want to share in 1 second?
Let's see. Yeah, join our newsletter, and you guys can learn a lot more about Tech 2025. We welcome you to come to the events and to give your feedback. So tech2025.com.
All right. Good promo. And thanks for being with us. And you out there, join us next Tuesday and bring your coffee or whatever, and come join us for coffee.co. Let's talk crypto.